Hey, Inspire Tribe. Welcome to the Inspired Livestream. I think number 171. Yeah, 172, who knows? And it is Thursday, June 10th, 2021. Summer has arrived in Tennessee, although it's kind of very beautiful and nice, and we're excited to be here. I want you guys to remember, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Come on. We're healthy, wealthy, whole, free. Embrace those words. Never just say them. Feel them. You got to feel this and be in the moment when you say this. When words become just words, the meaning gets lost and you don't really get the benefits of this beautiful affirmation that you're speaking. And we've been actually in the mastership call yesterday. We talked a lot about embodying the feeling. So when you say those words, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I'm whole, I'm free, mean it, feel it, and take the time to dive into it. I'm Jean Nolan. This is Kristin Nolan. She's sitting there behind the camera. And she's always in the live chat, guys. So obviously you can see that when I'm speaking, I'm not chatting at the same time. That's always Kristin who's doing the chat talking. So
I'm the chatter.
You are the chatter. And we're going to dive into a very extensive topic today. By no means will this live stream be complete or get the full picture on this topic. I also want to say a fair warning, people will be triggered by this, and some people will get angry, will get mad, maybe just, shut me off, and that's okay. It's not my intention at all to upset anyone. But at the same time, we are completely 100% committed to being authentic, being truthful, being honest, being inspired in that way. So there's no bullshitting going on around here until we pull out the card game. Bullshit.
Maybe we want to talk about the retreat?
Yes, we will talk about the retreat. It's up in the live chat comments up there. We'll talk about it in the last part of the live stream today, the Yado retreat. The You Are the One retreat. So the link is up there in the live chat. It's pinned up there. Check it out. We'll tell you a little bit more about it. But let's dive into today's topic, which is called the spiritual deep fake. And for those of you who don't know what a deep fake is, this has gotten real specific meaning. So in the last 10 years or so, we've seen a technology emerge in the public realm where you can create the illusion that someone, maybe a celebrity, politician, someone who is saying something on camera, and really it was through software and artificial intelligence software. It was modified, changed, and edited. So you could have a video of someone and they're saying something that really upsets you, and you say, I can't believe that person would ever say that, and they never said it. It was all done digitally. With software and editing software and artificial intelligence. So that is a deep fake. A deep fake really means that something appears to be so real that the viewer cannot distinguish between it being real or it being a fake, a projection. And this has become so true for spirituality in general, the way it is lived, the way it is portrayed, and the way we're seeing it in the movements today, but not today by any means. This is not exclusive to our time. But we want to talk, we want to peel the onion here and get to the core, because what is happening, we're actually seeing almost something like an exit movement of people that are deeply disillusioned and depressed, that are worse off than they were before they found some sort of spirituality, because they have been deceived and misled for a long time. And so this is to peel the onion and to see at the core, at the center, there is absolute enlightenment and truth, and there is something bigger than our physical appearance, and there is a God, there is a universe, there's all that is for us. But there's so much deception and lies around it. And I want to kick this off really by saying that at all times, spiritual movements were infiltrated, because there was always an entity, a powerful entity that didn't want humans to be empowered, that didn't want humans to understand who they really are. So that's the premise of it all. And way back when. And when you come to the Inspired channel and when you join one of our live streams, you will notice that we sometimes have a completely different look on history, a completely different version of history, because we've been studying this all our lives, and we can basically tell what's in the history books is usually not just distorted, but it's just a tiny little fraction, or it's actually completely turned upside down, but it's almost never authentic and almost never true. But what has happened, historically speaking, is way back when there were pure cultures on this planet that lived in the pure kind of meant to be ways. That wasn't the time of mega churches. That was not a time of big preachers that were up on a pedestal and that were preaching truth to an uneducated, unknowing, disconnected crowd. The true meaning of life, the practical spirituality in every aspect of life, the importance of certain rituals, beautiful rituals, and the eternal natural logic behind those rituals, the omnipresence of God in everything, nature, men, animals, was known. And so, mothers would teach their daughters and their sons, and fathers would teach their sons and their daughters about these practices, about how to live and why they do certain things, why a wedding ceremony is done the way it is done, and what it has happening between a man and a woman at that time, and the importance of living in harmony with the land and living in harmony with other beings. All of that was at one time present on this planet and practically lived every day. It was a beautiful heaven on earth kind of state, so beautiful. And this was, it's not that historically speaking we have come from complete Neanderthals and now this is our peak of evolution so far. Not at all. We went backwards and now we're slowly finding our way out of the darkness into the light again. But at one point, what had happened, and we can't pinpoint it to one event, but at one point, there was the beginning of a battle, and it was a spiritual battle. It was at the core of that battle, it was to get the attention of creation, to manipulate creation. That was really what the battle was about. And so these beautiful spiritual living or practically spiritual living people that were so in harmony with each other and with the planet were infiltrated. What happened was there were people from far away that nobody knew would come into a community and begin to smooth talk their way into the communities. And what they always did is look for someone who was susceptible to suggestions and to have their egos boosted. So they would look into a village and they would look for someone who would be open to their suggestions. And they then began to pump up their egos and slowly, very gently move them away from the authentic path, from the authentic connection with God, to boosting the ego. And this is where the original infiltration of spirituality began. And then what happened was, as we can see today, more and more people across the planet were built up as the chosen ones, as the preachers, as the ones who have more wisdom and knowledge and are somehow selected by God personally to speak the truth. And sometimes, or a lot of times, these people were still speaking a lot of truth, but then these things have a life of their own. Then you are a preacher, you're talking to a lot of people, they keep coming to you. So you start building buildings and you start building organizational structures. And all of a sudden, you are serving the structure, because then, you need more money for this and people need to be paid there. And all of a sudden, the message gets tailored. So it supports the structure rather than it being pure, it being real, and it being authentic. And we have seen this in the past 20 years or so. There was on the one side this beautiful opening, and it coincided with the advent of the internet, this beautiful opening where knowledge and wisdom that were hidden in books that people didn't find or didn't find as easily, and that were somehow scattered across the planet, were now accessible to large numbers of people. And now we have this imitation of the all that is field on this planet, which is the internet. It's like the World Wide Web, literally, right? Where there's so much information and knowledge and wisdom. But what has happened is people have taken little bits and pieces of this knowledge and of this wisdom, and they've put them together in a very beautiful, marketed kind of way. And what they have said is, listen, you don't need to take the path to enlightenment. You don't need to become aware of these things, and you don't need to do all the work. All you need to understand is this is the one principle that will get you rich, that will get you beautiful, that will get you attractive, that will get you everything you want. And this literally has taken out the foundation of what it is. The path to God, because we have distanced ourselves for such a long time, is a path. It is a path, and it's accumulation of experiences that you have, of understandings that you have. It is not something, it is like a pyramid, and not the pyramid of power that you're always so presented with. It's, you begin with the foundation, and there's a lot to learn there, a lot to understand there, a lot to grasp there. And then you move up till the top of the pyramid, where the essence is. The essence of it all is that we truly are one with all that is, one with God, one with this eternal essence. But what has happened is this wasn't known to many people before, but now it's thrown around like free candy everywhere. And people say, oh, all I got to focus on is being one with God. That's all there is, and that's the solution to everything. But they haven't done the work. They haven't walked the path. They haven't had the experiences. So now there's such a disconnect, such a huge gap between where they are in their lives, which is sometimes, frustrated or sad or even angry, or, things are not working out, or what are they?
In an addiction.
Yeah, or in an addiction or whatnot. And then someone tells him, listen, all you got to understand is we're all one. Focus on love and light. We're one with God. This is it, right? And this is the equivalent. It's the equivalent of saying, hey, I heard this one beautiful phrase, in the eyes of the law, we're all the same, right? That is a maxim of law, is in the eyes of the law, we're all the same. Wonderful. Now I can be an attorney, right? Because I understand this. Now I can be an attorney. I don't have to go to law school anymore. I don't have to study law anymore. I don't have to graduate from a university, whatever. This is it. That's all I need to know. So this is kind of like a comparison of what this misbelief is, that all you need to know is this one pinnacle truth, and not really experiencing the teachings and doing the work and really connecting with God and really aligning yourself with that energy and being practical about it. This is something that is so important. We cannot become this essence of it all if we do not see, heal, and transform our darkness and our traumas that are within us. And as I always say, if you've lived on this planet, if this is where you grew up, there's a very big chance that you have collected some luggage along the way, some baggage that you're carrying, some trauma, some pain, some suffering, abuse, those things. And if we just say, hey, we're just going to sprinkle love and light on it all, and it's all going to be fine, and that's all we're going to focus on from now on, that's not authentic, and it doesn't work, and it creates greater frustration. It creates much greater frustration than if you've never really started to go on that spiritual path. It's kind of like if your computer has a virus, and you kind of see that it's not working well. It's very slow. It's lagging. It doesn't start up right. And the functions are not really there. It doesn't, everything takes forever. And then all you do is just open up your Word or your pages, and you type in love and light. Now the virus is cured. Now everything's okay. Now the computer works. Is that how it works? That's not how it works. You have to become aware that there is a virus. You have to become aware that there's something wrong. You have to become aware that there is some sort of pain, so to speak, and then heal it. Become aware of it, heal it, transform that energy. only if you become aware that there's a virus on your computer, you can do something about it. You can heal your computer. It does not work to just say love and light and put that on the screen, because the journey didn't take place. The transformation didn't take place. And this has been the single source of so much frustration. And this is now becoming, people are kind of like addicts. They're coming from this for years now. I've been studying this. I've been studying the spiritual practices, law of attraction. This is how it works. I got to say my things, and all I got to focus on is feeling good and focusing on what I want, and then I will get what I want. But the spiritual path, the path to God, was never meant to be to get what you want. If you're truly on that path, you realize that all has already been given. It's all already been given. There's nothing to get. There's nothing to get because it's all already been given. This beautiful creator that created everything has already given everything. It's just that we have cut ourselves off from all the goodness and from all this beauty because we have been manipulated and infiltrated. Yes, we've allowed ourselves to be that, but we have to understand there is such a thing as darkness. We have to understand there is polarity, there is duality, and there are forces that are constantly working at leaving you disempowered. Because if you only step into 5% of your true power, these forces are completely, they can't do anything about anything anymore. They don't share, these forces don't share the same soul as you do. They don't share the same consciousness as you do. These are completely different entities. That's something that's been hidden from most people on the planet. There are these entities that are completely different in their nature, that have no empathy, that have no conscience, that have no soul, so to speak. And so they will, without skipping a beat, do anything that it's required to maintain that control over people. And so these messages have been so that there are these truths that they take and then they twist them, and then they remove something and add something else. And it all sounds so beautiful. It all sounds so awesome. My life could be, I could have really horrible relationships because I just can't seem to get along with people, or they can't seem to get along with me. And I could be in bad shape, and I could be extremely obese, and I could be sick, and I could be broke, and I could be depressed. And then when someone then tells me, listen, bud, all you got to do is sit on the couch. You just got to chill out. You just got to focus on love and light. That's all you got to do. And when you focus on love and light, that's what's going to come into your life. That's going to push people over the edge, because that's not how it works. Everything in our experience is practical. It has to be practical. It has to be doable. It has to be actionable. It has to be realizable. What I'm not saying is you have to go out and work hard for everything. Not at all. What I'm telling you is, if you begin to clean up on the inside, you will soon enough get the understanding that we also need to do that on the outside of our planet. But we need to clean it up. We can't just leave shit as it is, because we created the mess. So we now have to clean that up. And we can do that with the guidance of God. We can do that with this beautiful energy. But we cannot just take one phrase that sounds really good and allows us to stay in our comfort zone and allows us to not look beyond.
And to stay passive.
This is not how this works. It is truly, we are in the midst of the work that needs to be done. It's beautiful work. It's inspired work. But this infiltration of the spiritual movements, it is so pervasive, and it is so everywhere, and especially in what you might call the New Age movement. There's so much of that. People are packaging and selling and packaging and selling and packaging and selling. And there is now a flood, and we can tell you this because we get emails, because we get messages, because we get calls. And literally the biggest frustration is, I've been doing this for many years now. I've been listening, I've been buying books, I've been watching videos, I've been going to seminars and cruises and whatnot. I am still in the same place, if not worse off than I was before. But now I'm afraid to look at what's really inside, because if I look there, I will attract more of that. If I face my own trauma, my own darkness, what's been keeping me in this place, I will attract more of it. So I can't look there. So I have to focus on the good. Can you see how absolutely destructive this mode is? There's a term for that. It's called spiritual bypassing. It's if you take spiritual practices out of context and use them to soothe this fear that you have, which at sometimes it's a good idea to use that, but you have to face it, right? If you have an infection somewhere in your body or somewhere in a wound, you got to face that. You got to become aware of it and then heal it. If you do not become aware of it, or worse yet, if you pretend it's not there and ignore it, it's going to get worse. It's looking for your attention. Every trauma, every pain, everything that keeps us aggressive, keeps us sad, keeps us angry, keeps us depressed, keeps us addicted, keeps us in the loop, it just wants to be seen. There's something that wants to be seen. There's something that wants to be healed. There's something that wants to be transformed. And the spiritual deepfake is to tell you it is not so. You don't need to look there, because darkness doesn't really exist. Because suffering is an illusion. Because the pain is an illusion. The trauma is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. That's the spiritual bypassing. And the reason why they're telling you this is because for those who really understand, these are highly intelligent entities. For those who really understand, they know that's how you stay small, that's how you stay little, that's how you stay in your little box. For those who understand that it's way easier to sell stuff to people when they tell them everything's just easy breezy, you don't need to do anything, you just need to focus on these 3 things, write it down, drink that glass of water, that's it, and you're gonna get rich and beautiful and healthy and skinny and all that. And here's my bill. It's, that seminar is only $7,000, whatever. And again, this is not to mock people. This is not to put anyone down, but you have to understand that this path is all about creating a real, authentic relationship with your creator, because that's the only source of true guidance and wisdom that you're going to get. That's the only source of true guidance and wisdom that you're going to get. And the thing is, if a message is off, or if wisdom and teachings are off by a little bit, you know what happens? Let me give you a metaphor for that. If you see life as a journey of 1,000 miles, let's say life is a journey of 1,000 miles, and if you start at mile 1 and you have your compass and you want to go south, and the compass is off 0.1 degree, 0.1 degree, very, very little. For the first few miles, it appears that you're going in the same direction. But the further you go, the bigger the gap gets, because 0.1 degree after 1,000 miles, you are hundreds of miles off from where you want to go. And that's how this spiritual deepfake works. It puts a conviction in people, and it presents them with a picture that is accurate in a lot of ways, but when it comes to the key elements, it is wrong, it is misleading. And so you walk that path and you wonder, I've been walking this path all my life. Shouldn't I have freedom? Shouldn't I be healthy? Shouldn't I be fulfilled? Shouldn't I feel love in my life? Shouldn't I? Because when you walk the path with God, shouldn't you be fulfilled? Not that you don't have disappointments, not that you don't experience the ups and downs of lives. That's part of this physical journey, but shouldn't that then be the dominant vibration in your life, the goodness to beauty? Because as I said before, it's all been given. This is really, we don't need to pray to a God and ask for things and ask for more stuff and abundance and ask for health and ask for food and because it's all been given. It's all been given. We've come into an environment where it's all already there, and we're cutting ourselves off, and we're seeing this as the biggest topic, because the world is moving in a new direction. And spiritually speaking, now there is this move towards almost a new religion, a new world religion, if you will. And it is misleading. It is misleading because it is pointing to the ego and to an external collective source of control. And we want you to understand, we that's maybe too strong. We would love for you to feel the difference between you having an authentic relationship with your creator where no one can interfere. No one can interfere there. If you're really connected, if you go into a deep meditative state, if you go into a beautiful walk in nature, if you just keep making that the most important thing in your life, really no one will be able to interfere anymore. And the people that have had that in the past, the saints that we keep talking about, they've had such a loving, beautiful influence on others around them. They have never inspired others to harm people. They've never inspired others to spread violence and spread suppression on this planet. So this is the real thing. Feels authentic, it feels real, and we then become real humans once again, not bio-robots. Someone who is told that they have to feel positive and good feeling thoughts all day, every day. It's not human, it's a bio-robot. We are diverse, we are authentic, we are complex beings. We have a deep understanding for feelings and emotions from the past. We are allowed to experience the wholeness of what there is to feel. But you will also see, and this is something that is at the essence of it all, our true nature is love. Our true nature is connection. Our true nature is abundance. It is not that we focus on that then more. We are that. We are that. That's what our true nature is. So when you heal what's inside of you, rather than try to put makeup on it, when you transform those dark, painful energies, and you can, you set yourself free to be what you were always meant to be. And then you don't have to make yourself focus on the good stuff. And then you don't have to show up every single day to get external inspiration and to get to do the affirmations every day for the rest of your life, so you get a little bit into the feeling of it, because you then know, you wake up knowing that you are that, and you feel like that. You truly feel light, and you truly feel love, and you truly feel freedom. And this is a complete difference to the light and love brigade that is out there. I call them the light or love and light brigade, because that's all their answer for everything is love and light, just love and light. It feels fake and phony. It makes me want to vomit because I don't believe it, because I see the pain in their eyes. I see the suffering, and they're just throwing that love and light just like makeup on it, and they're trying to hide the black eyes, and they're trying to hide the pain that they have experienced. And these people are so often not authentic. They're afraid, they're deeply scared, because they have been led down this deep fake spiritual path by some fake guru who feels the same way, who was led by another fake guru who feels the same way. Authenticity means that you acknowledge the wholeness of who you are, that you're willing to accept that there's darkness inside of you that you have not acknowledged, that there's trauma or pain or whatever inside of you. And I'm saying, if you've healed that, wonderful, then you already know it. But so many on this planet have not healed it yet, because they were told it's not good to look there. They were told they shouldn't. They were told that it's going to attract more of that. And a healing process is not, I'm going to stir that shit up every day. That's not healing. A healing process is an intentional process to go and transform those energies. You might have to do it twice or three times maybe, if it's something that has been there for a while, but it is not going to therapy for 10 years and talking about it. That's actually stirring up shit. It's real healing. So you deactivate and transform. That's the thing, because that was never your nature to begin with. And so someone said beautifully that pain in this life is a given. And that is true. If you're living life, if you are in a physical experience, you're going to experience pain. Physical, spiritual, emotional, you're going to have those moments. But suffering is optional. And that's the beauty. Pain is a given, but suffering is optional. Suffering means to perpetuate it, to keep walking with it. And that is the Can you now see how much power there is in that freedom to free yourself from these false spiritual teachings and move into something authentic? Because what that does is you're then becoming truly the master of your life, in concert with the greatest master of them all, God, in concert. And when you heal, and you heal with God, you don't heal without God, you heal with God. And then when you then heal, you're such an empowered being. You're free. You're free. You wake up empowered, energized, life-loving, life-giving, and you're going to express that. And I want to encourage you to turn the crap off that gives you a false sense of hope rather than a true feeling of empowerment. That's a difference. The false sense of hope, that's the Love and Light Brigade. And look into their eyes. Not everyone, by all means, but look into their eyes. They're sad. They're angry underneath. They're putting so much emphasis on symbolism, on colors, on crystals, and again, nothing against crystals whatsoever. But whenever there is such an emphasis on everything around them, the true essence isn't there. And this is the biggest revelation, and it's literally everywhere now. This is the biggest topic we see, because it is one more trap, and this has happened in all religions at all times. Because at the core of every religion, almost every religion, there is the essence and the truth. And if everything around it, wasn't so distorted, there would be a beautiful path there. But religions are power structures. They are there for a reason. They're not there to empower people for the most part. They're there to control people. It's a different thing. And there's only one way. The way is for you to acknowledge, number one, that you come from something greater than this human body. You must be. Because when you close your eyes, because when you shut your senses off, even when you are in a terrible situation like paralyzed, there's a spirit inside of you that is still free, that has still the capability to connect with all that is. So it's not your physical body. And when you acknowledge that, it's like an apple pie. If God's source is the apple pie and you are a piece of that apple pie, no matter where you're put on which planet, you're still apple pie, still your nature. Your nature is still God. Your nature is still divine. To say you are God feels so blasphemic to many people, because most of us, cannot sit here and create a tree just by looking outside and there it grows. And so maybe acknowledge the divinity in us, that we have a divine spark. Acknowledge that and see that divine spark in everything around you, rather than look for it from some preacher that stands somewhere that is supposed to be the source of it all. Bless you.
Thank you.
And neither are we, and never want it to be. I never, there's never a day where someone calls us or messages us or emails us and has maybe a dark night of the soul or whatever, and they want us to tell them what to do. There's never this answer is here's what you do in terms of these are the decisions you should make. It's always the path to you, the path to this and this. And so discern and don't let anyone tell you that spirituality isn't practical. Because what about the guy who picks up the garbage? And what about the lady who sweeps the sidewalk in front of the store? And what about the people that work at the post office that do mundane jobs? Are they not divine creators? Isn't that practical spirituality? What about the wonderful our wonderful Siobhan, who's a member of our mastership calls? I mean, she's dedicated the past months of her life to literally picking up trash. She's a master. She's a master. She's a beautiful, beautiful master. And what she does is she goes out and she picks up trash. And she knows that this is a spiritual task. Don't let anyone tell you it's just a meditation, it's just a prayer, and the other stuff you shouldn't look at. We have to bring light to the horrific things that are going on across the planet, to the abuse, to the trafficking, to the murder and ritualistic stuff that's going on. And we can only do that when we rid ourselves from these false, deep fake spiritual prophets who tell us we shouldn't look there, we shouldn't go there, we shouldn't talk about it, we shouldn't acknowledge it, we should pretend it's not there and only focus on love and light. If that was the truth, there wouldn't be any of that, but there is. This is too big of a gap. We have to make the path. We have to walk the path. We have to take the journey of 1,000 steps or 1,000 miles. You don't start at the destination. And the beauty in this is, and this is again from another one of our mastership members, that's Illy. She has said this over and over again. When she started out, she had a mental understanding of many spiritual truths, where she could repeat what she heard or learned or picked up. But until she had the actual experience, she couldn't embody it. And then she said, now I feel it everywhere. This is what this really means. And so you can't just take, a few statements and beautiful quotes off the internet and say, here, I remember, we're all one. Until you experience what that means, don't repeat it anymore. Don't say it. Until you can stand in a room with the most horrific person on this planet who has done the most horrific things to the most innocent ones. And you say, look at them and look in the eyes and say, we are truly all one. Until you can do that, you have not embodied this. So don't say it. Don't preach it. Because you are then part of the fakeness. If you are in the state of we're all one, then that's what you're going to feel. And I can't tell you in this lifetime that I've gotten to that state. I cannot look into the eyes of a horrific person who's done so much harm and maybe killed thousands of people and say we're all one, you and me, we're one. I cannot yet do that. I'm aspiring to get to that place in this life, but I'm not there yet. So this is an abstract concept that is true. I believe it is true, but I have not yet fully embodied this with all I have. And so please understand that there's a difference between mentally understanding something and really fully embodying something. That's the real difference. That's the path. And the initiation process only means that you get confronted with a knowledge, let's say spiritual knowledge, and then you have the experiences to embody it. And once you have embodied it and experienced it, you move to the next lesson, so to speak. You move to the next piece of knowledge. That is how this works. You have to experience and embody it. And these cultures that I talked about in the beginning, they knew that. That's how they brought up their children, all through real experience. Nothing was abstract. Nothing was unpractical. If there was something taught to a child, they had to have the opportunity to practically experience it, or it was just talk. There's a difference. So walk, fine-tuning, align your compass. Take one lesson at a time, embody it. There's a beautiful saying in the Tao Te Ching. This one book of all wonders could be just one line, sums up the whole book. The Tao that can be named is not the Tao, which means that the way, the real way, all that is way really cannot be named, because you cannot put it into a word or a phrase or a sentence or even a book. All words, all wisdom, all knowledge only points to it. And you have to go there yourself and experience it. It is not enough to watch wisdom and see others who talk about it. You have to go there and experience it, become it, embody it. And then you will forever know, because it will be you and you will be it. That is the true path to enlightenment. It was never meant to be a one-stop shop experience. It was never meant to be a day visit at the spa. It is a walk. It's a true walk. And the longer you walk it, the more you will realize you will walk it with all of you. And you will begin to align all of your words and all of your actions with the truth that you're embodying. Not with some pseudo-spiritual phrases, throwing them out there that don't do anything but create more harm because they're disconnected from a greater truth. They're disconnected from experience. And so I almost wonder if this opening to all knowledge and wisdom, the hidden, was really so good in many ways. Because it got marketed, it got diluted. But here we are. And we will, once again, we will assimilate. Once again, we will expand in that. I just encourage you to really walk the walk, to set your compass to 100%, the right direction. And readjust. Go there. It's a beautiful, beautiful path. It's full of joy and fulfillment and eye-opening moments and tears of joy. Transformation, healing. This is real stuff. It's authentic stuff. It's where you can be who you really are. Acknowledge shit that happened. Acknowledge there's still crap in the world. There's still pain and there's still suffering. There's more work for us to do. And that if we just sit on our couch and say everything is love and light, it's not going to be done. So, my 5 cents for the day. I really, really don't feel like talking too much about the retreat right now because I want you to go and feel your way through the words that we have written on that page if you want to click on that link. And that retreat is just that. It's exactly that. There's just one aim, always. And there's so many paths there. It's to lead you to a deeper, more authentic, real relationship with the Creator. That's what we want to do when we get together on the beach. We'll do it through so many fun and joyful and out of the comfort zone experiences. But that's the path. Kristin and I, we are not the source of your fulfillment. We'll never be. We are loving pointers. We're like the pointers. We're like a direction sign at one stage in your life. And for as long as you need some guidance, we'll be there and we'll just point you in the direction. And we'll guide you there. And that's what we lovingly do. But we're not the source. We're not the source of that fulfillment. We're not the guru that can do this for you. And there's no subscription model in the world that will do that for you. There's some wonderful, wonderful souls that came here for this particular reason. We came here to do that. We had a choice to come. We weren't thrown here because by the forces of karma. We had a choice to come here, and we wanted to come here. We wanted to be here to help, to assist, and to do it in a loving way. And here we are doing it. It's the most fulfilling thing. Don't get us wrong, it's tiring at times. We get tired at times, and we sometimes miss this beautiful all that is light that we used to be in, where we didn't have this, these dense bodies and the heaviness of that, where we were just pure light. We miss that sometimes, but it's okay. We go there, we dream about it, we go there in meditation. But here we are in this physical bodies because it's so much easier, to do this work in a physical body. People tend to listen more than when you're just a light being or something like that. So here we are doing that. And in whichever way you feel inspired to join the journey or help others, assist others, please do so. And bring that which you experience, the wisdom that you embody, bring that to your daily experiences. Bring it into the grocery store. Bring that kindness, that real love that you experience from God, bring that to every conversation. And bring that to the truth. Don't be afraid to speak the truth. Let's not be afraid to uncover what's on this planet and bring love, real love to it. and bring real transformation and healing to it. We have that power to do that now. But that's not going to happen when we follow the false prophets and the deep fake spiritual teachings. Yep. I think this is complete for now. Inspired Tribe, thank you for joining us. We are complete for this week. It was just a 2 live stream week, but we'll be here again on Monday, 2 p.m. Central. It's such a powerful time we feel these are very important right now. We get very strong messages for the live streams. And we're just going to continue to show up for you, show up for us, show up for, the whole planet in the way we're called to do so. We love you. We truly do. And maybe that's the most important thing, to say. We truly love you. There's such a deep love for each and every one of you, such a deep love for our connection and for the ability to share in these things. Deep, deep love. Thank you, and be abundantly blessed. And we'll see you soon.